the gesture. Gifts are a way to show someone else that you care. When you're only doing it to get something back, you've taken a selfless act and made it selfish. You're not trying to show you care, you're just trying to help yourself. Similar to how people with mental strength celebrate their friends, another person's happiness is motivation to doing favors. If a friend asks for something, they don't insist their other friend owes them one afterwards. Having dreamy expectations about others will often leave you feeling disappointed. You can't always know what someone is thinking, and you can't always change their mind about it either. The best you can do is respect their independence. Maybe they will do what you were expecting, but maybe not. Either way, acceptance is the key to moving forward. Number 8, you adapt to change. Change is something you simply can't avoid. Think about your life 5 years ago. How old were you? What was different? Usually, people are astounded by the stark contrast in their life after just 5 years of change. It just goes to show that change happens whether we think it will or not. So here's the most important question. Are you ready for change when it does come? After all, adapting to change isn't easy, but it's something people with mental strength do very well. When things go sideways, they don't panic, they don't lose hope. They believe in their ability to succeed, whether they're prepared or not. This faith gives them the confidence to take risks. It lets them succeed outside their comfort zone, not because they're any more talented. In fact, they might be untrained and unprepared. But it isn't about what you know, it's about what you believe you're capable of. Number 9, you set boundaries. Do you set clear boundaries with the people in your life? Maintaining boundaries is actually a sign of mental strength. It shows self-respect because you don't let people take advantage of you or invade your space. There is, however, a difference between setting boundaries and pushing people away. Setting boundaries encourages people to respect what you're comfortable with. You can still establish close friendships, even if there are some rules. For example, you may decide you won't lend money to your friends. That doesn't mean you don't trust your friends, it's just something they have to respect. On the other hand, pushing people away ruins your chances of bonding with anyone. Boundaries are there to help friendships last. They shouldn't stop them from happening. So don't shut people out, but don't give everyone full access either. Number 10, you show gratitude. A simple thank you is a great indicator of mental strength. It shows that you acknowledge the time that others give up for you. They didn't have to do anything. They could have left you out to dry, but they didn't. Gratitude tells them that they matter. It shows that you value them like you value yourself. This is where most egocentric individuals run into trouble. They don't show gratitude because they don't respect or value others. They ignore the people that built them up. So when they inevitably fall, no one is there to catch them. On the other hand, people who show gratitude tend to do well in life.
For those of you who watch this channel and understand the meaning of the word icons, the international community of national sovereigns, you would know that I am a proponent of individual freedom, which is the right of all humans. Now, I know as you look around the world, there are certain places on the planet that you cannot experience individual freedom. But here in America, this country was built based on individual freedom. It is a truth that we have ignored and is not being taught in our schools anymore, that we the people are the sovereign entities that create this government for us, by us. And what crooks have done successfully in some degree is basically propaganda the American people to believe that they are the ones in charge. It is the farthest from the truth. And you know, there's a kryptonite document that puts them all in their place. And basically what I'm trying to say, the document that I talk about is the Declaration of Independence. It holds the key to what we can do when we feel our government is getting too far out of hand, taking too much control, and infringing on our inalienable human rights. And you can see that all the time. These people are trying to push things on you, force you into contracts, into deals that take away your individual liberties and rights. They don't have any power to do that, so they ask you permission to do it. They cannot institute any type of law or laws that restrict our individual inalienable rights. And they know this. So they count on, sleight of hand techniques to basically fool you into contracting yourself into a system that gives them unbridled power in decision making for us. This is not what this America was built upon. And I want to read you a quote from the Declaration of Independence. It says here that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Now, let's juxtapose this to what's happening in our world today. You're seeing politicians coming at you from every angle, telling you that you don't have a right to protect yourself. They want to abolish your Second Amendment. I mean, your ability, your human right to protect yourself. Because one thing that I got to really stress to people that listen to this channel, and this is truth, people. I don't care what they tell you that is a lie. This is the truth. We do not have constitutional rights. We have human rights that the Constitution was written to protect. And who is these rules and ethics given to? Our employees, our servants, those people that we elect and put in our government. The Constitution is for them. It's telling them they cannot infringe or trespass on any of these things in this contract here. You must take an oath to it. You must sign it and take an oath. No American has to sign and take an oath because we are born with human rights. And we knew that if we put people in power in a government, that they could try to take away those rights. The Constitution tells them they cannot. So if any law professor, any so-called law expert tells you anything different, they are lying to you. And you can just use simple logic to disprove them. No government was here waiting for us to come down and for it to rule over us. We created this government for us. Unlike when the colonists came over here, they were running from a totalitarian regime, government, that wanted to basically rule over their lives wherever they were at on planet Earth. So they had to declare their independence from that type of government. They did, and I guess the king disagreed. Said, no, you're under me, and I'm going to send my troops over there to show you. That didn't work out too well for the king. And it began the quest where sovereign people got together and said, we're going to create a government for us, by us, and we're going to institute some laws and rules and regulations for us and for those who we put in government, so we can live peacefully among each other, so we can have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Did I explain that clearly? Hopefully I did, because a lot of people look at people like me and say that I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just telling you how things are. This was the reason I came up with the idea that if we really want to, we can declare our independence from the United States government, even though it belongs to us, which I would think that all we have to do is reclaim it. But if it's so far into the deep crook's hands that they would use force against us, we might have to just declare our independence from it, either as a group or individually. It will be very easy for you to write a Declaration of Independence to the headquarters, which is in Washington, D.C., to the president, which is the CEO of our corporation, company, the United States, and tell him. You don't ask, because if you own something, why you gotta ask for anybody's permission from your employees to basically get out of any type of unseen contract that they have placed you? They know it's wrong, they know it's unlawful, and they know it shouldn't be done. So what could they do? Can they force you to stay in? No, because nobody on this planet, according to commercial law, can force you into any contract without your consent. So now you take this and you look at it, and you look at the whole diagram of its thing, and you see that this is all under commercial law principles. It's very simple, people. I just gave you the biggest sovereign secret. And I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback from people that's trying to make profit off of you. I'm not trying to make profit. I'm trying to live in a society where all of us can get along, all of us can have prosperity, and all of us can be free. As long as we don't break the rules and hurt another, kill another, steal from another, damage somebody else's property, we can stay. No one has a right to tell you anything. If you want to act a fool, you can act a fool as long as you ain't hurt nobody. And all these arbitrary rules and codes and statutes that they're putting on us is unconstitutional. They're acting outside of their oath of office, their contract, and it should be all voided. What would happen to our society, Sarge? No, we wouldn't. We're smart beings. We can come up with other ways to do things instead of always you are going to jail or pay a fine. I'm an advocate that no one should be deprived of the right to bear arms. I don't care. It used to be that way in America. Don't believe it? Go look up history. You could even watch old cowboy movies where you see a criminal get arrested for robbing a train or blah, blah, blah. They sentenced to 10, 20 years, whatever. As soon as they get out, guess what? The sheriff or the jailer has their property there with guns, and they hand it right back to them. Because they knew that that was one of our human rights to protect ourselves that they could not infringe on. And now you got people trying to ban everything that even looks like a gun. You got people getting arrested for pointing their finger at another in the form of a gun. This is getting to be uncontrollable, outlandish, and these slave masters are going to take it to the next level. As soon as they see that they can get away with certain things, they take it to the next level. They're not going to be satisfied until they have total submission and total control over your government. Your government is yours. They don't have a right to steal it from you. They don't have a right to give it to anyone. They don't have a right to lease out what we supposed to be doing to private people, like the bankers. They don't have a right. They didn't have a right to do that. Show me where they had a right to do that in the contract called the Constitution. It's not listed. They don't have it. It says Congress should be in charge of printing and coining whatever money that we call money. Not to give our prosperity and money-making abilities over to private bankers who can charge us interest. And then when everything else goes as planned, they can hold a nation hostage because they're the ones that's controlling our economy. Now, I know a lot of y'all might think President Trump is kind of, whining here and there. Please, people, please, stop it. Stop writing me and telling me that you think that Trump is on their side. Listen, there are two factions of very powerful, rich people in this world. One worships the devil. Okay? The darkness. And I believe and I know that there's others that want to do things the right way. Even though they're rich, they haven't lost their humanity. These two groups are at the top fighting each other. People are dying as I make this video. So for you to sit there and be so selfish and to think that President Trump can just come in and in less than 3 years reverse everything that's been happening over the last 100 and something years, come on, wake up, get out of your fantasy land and get on board, and let's help President Trump in his efforts to free us from this cabal of crooks that have been robbing and stealing from us for a very, 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 very long time. If the Federal Reserve Bank hadn't been instituted in our government, we would have the greatest, richest, and we wouldn't have to worry about any type of prosperity issues or anything. We would have enough prosperity to take care of everybody that was born in America. Because these crooks stole, in essence, estimates from experts say that just to get to zero, these people stole over $250 trillion of Americans' worth in gold, silver, land, just to get to zero, where we now owe them an unending debt. Do you understand what I'm saying? We could not owe ourselves. It's not even a possibility that we could. And we would
put restraints on the government. Well, this is what we're going to pay you in taxes. This is what you have your guidelines around. This is what you're going to get. None of this you're going to borrow more and more fake money from some fake banking system and put the debt on 200 years in the future. Do you understand that? Do you understand anything about mathematics and economics? So, I just had to make this video because I know the kryptonite to these people is the truth. And I want everybody within my voice. If you can hear my voice, you have to basically take control of your own lives, take control of your own responsibilities, and help those who are struggling. That's not a requirement. I'm just saying please, because it'll be better if we're not fighting against the people that's living amongst us, the owners also. They're owners also. And we're fighting against them because they want to give up the country to a bunch of crooks. That's where my fight is. I don't know where your fight is at. See, I look at every American as a CEO of this great country. And I just cannot fathom someone who owns a company, the most prosperous company ever in the history of humanity, and you would rather sell your soul and sell your position in order to become what? Citizens? I don't understand it. I mean, have privileges instead of having rights? Where's the benefit in it? Government cannot grant you anything. Do you understand that? We are the government, people. We are. And when we let this paradigm, when we think there's a big bad government out there that's trying to get us, overtake our brain housing groups, then we're going down the path that they want you. When you see our government as yours, and that it should be working for every one of us, and our officials as employees and servants of us, then we can basically start gradually to weed out the crooks and get our country back to the norm where we are in charge. If you don't want that, please leave. Because I love this experiment. This experiment is working. Capitalism is working. People owning the government is working. Now, who would you think they didn't want this to work? Who in their right mind would be against human rights and we humans controlling our fate? Thank you. Only slave masters. Only crooks. So you want to bow down to them? You want to let them make every decision in your life for you? Or, for instance, live in the real world and we tell them what we want them to do. We don't live in a democracy, people. We live in a republic. And each one of you is no more important than anyone else. You don't have any more rights than anyone else. Just because you got a lot more money, that don't mean nothing. You're still equal. You're created equal. That don't mean you're going to stay equal, but that don't mean that you have more power over. Just because you're richer than the poorest person, that don't mean you have a right to tell him how to run his life. That's not your job. So, I just wanted to make this quick video. And also, I want to say thanks to the family member who sent me Mr. John Ward's video. I was subscribed to him. I didn't even know because he was buried in my subscriptions. But he made a very good video about the global warming, global cooling, climate change. And he takes it back from the 70s. When I was growing up, it was global cooling. They made videos and movies that the world would be frozen way before 2019. And then when they found out that the evidence didn't fit that because of the last ice age just ending 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, and that the Earth goes through a period of warming for another 100,000 years until it goes back and repeats the cycle again. And that's not all the Earth, it's just certain parts of the Earth. But when they found that out, they said, well, we gotta say global warming. And when they found out that couldn't work, they said, hey, if we use climate change, we can't lose. Because the climate is always changing. And we can tell these people climate change is our fault. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? The Earth has been warmer thousands of times. The Earth has been cooler thousands of times. And this was way before man even freaking got here. They did an experiment in Russia and in other places where they dug in the ice caps. Millions of years. Millions. We only live in the year 2000, right? 2009. They go back millions of years. And they can see ice age after warming period. CO2 levels was 10 times as high. Guess what? The plants were bigger. The animals were bigger, if there were any back then. They were stronger. Because guess what? We're carbon-based entities. So these fools got you going against yourself to kill yourself. Saying that, hey, we need to get rid of carbon. What are they going to do? Then they're going to get into the reverse engineered free energy machines, anti-gravity devices, and fly off the planet. Might be a joke, but I think that's what we call the breakaway civilization. They're holding it for themselves. Just like they've been holding all these secrets of free energy devices that even Tesla knew about. And they've been hiding and they've been killing off people that's coming up with better ideas. They have cars that could run off of water. They suppress it. Free energy devices, all of a sudden they steal the patents, hide it. Because they want to keep you in this cycle of slavery on fossil fuels while they get more and more rich. But now they know that the end is coming, so now they want to change up. And they want to charge you for that too. It's just that simple. Crooks are crooks, people. No matter if they're in the form of a politician or a bum on the street, a criminal on the street. I want to ask you something. Who would you rather give your hard-earned energy, your money to? A bum on the streets or a politician? To me, it's an easy answer. Politicians are already getting my money. And the only time politicians come to me is when they want more of it. I might see a bum once or twice. If he's out there and he acts nicely, and I don't know his motives, whatever, I don't care. Here, I'm gonna help you out, bro. With a politician, you better ask every detail of why they want more and more of your money. And usually they're gonna lie to you and tell you lies just to get you into some type of illicit contract where you're giving it up. Look at what we're doing. We have trust these politicians, and they got the nerve to say they're doing a good job. What company would you run, would you own, and you have people working for you that put you $22 trillion in debt, and you would call that a good job? I just want to ask that question. Every year they're in the black. I mean in the red, in the negative. Every year they come back with a deficit. Every year. That's such a good job. Every year they want to expand it and get more of your money. They're getting more of our energy and money than at any time in the history of this country. And that's not enough. They want to bring more and more people to be dependent on you. So You could just whittle it down where now you're going to have less people working to provide for more people that's not. They're trying to collapse this country so that they can say, see, I told you capitalism didn't work. I told you this freedom didn't work. Now we're going to institute a totalitarian. Please. How you going to do it? And one of the obstacles to them doing it is our human right to defend ourselves and own guns. They know that's an obstacle, and they go full out blast. I know for a fact that some of these multiple killing sprees that these people go on are very deranged people that they control. They use voice of God technology on these people. Go look it up. And these people are on psychedelic drugs that wax them out of their mind. And next thing you know, they're saying, oh, I hear a voice, a dog, or say anything. I'm going to kill. It's always the weakest that they choose. They couldn't choose nobody like me because I'm not susceptible to brainwashing. I don't know why. After all the water poisoning, all the food poisoning, all the air poisoning, I don't know why I'm immune, but I am. I never believe these fools. I never believe none of the things that they say. I always question them. And for you to be a true American, you should too. Just because CNN or some type of news program tell you something, do not take it as fact. You investigate. And you get your sources from everywhere. There's no end to your investigation.